Welcome to the Gamer Dad podcast, where we talk about all things Magic the Gathering and gaming. We strive to make things fun, fit it into our busy lives, families, keep things casual, and show you how you can too. I'm GamerDadBob, a gamer since 1987, and I've owned most consoles imaginable from NES to PlayStation 5. And none of them, I mean this when I say this, none of them hold a candle to the power of PC gaming. I'm an IT manager, lover of sports, role-playing games, father of a very energetic 5-year-old who really can't wait to learn to read so he can play all kinds of board games and video games. And I have the newest NCAA 2026 game, and I made him as my character, my little running back. So his thing this week has been watching me play, and every time I hike the ball, he runs around the room, and then he falls when his character gets tackled.
That's funny. And I'm JesseHogie, lover of all things gaming. Even though I rarely 100% any game, I could probably count them on one hand. I got my first PlayStation with the PS5, surprisingly, and I no longer think the Switch 2 is a bad purchase.
Ooh.
Because I've put, and I'm not kidding, 60 hours into Zelda, the Breath of the Wild on the Switch 2.
And just good frame rates, smoother play.
It's so much smoother. It's so much smoother, and the loading times is so much quicker. And then Animal Crossing. I'm back into Animal Crossing because my daughter's into it now.
Uh-huh.
So she has her own island on the Switch 1, and I have my own island on the Switch 2.
Huh.
So it's pretty fun. It's pretty
interesting.
Fun. So today, I'm going to be giving the intros. We're diving into one of the most heated and timeless battles in gaming history, PC versus console. Whether you grew up on a PlayStation, an Xbox, or a hand-built gaming PC with RGB lights that could land a plane, everyone has a preferred way to play. But what really makes a platform better? Is it the power? Is it the high-end graphics? Or is it the simplicity and comfort of gaming from the couch with a controller in hand? Which, yes, I know you can do with a PC if you want, with the Steam stuff. I don't know what it's called. So grab your favorite headset or crank up those speakers because it is time to pick a side. Or maybe find some common ground. And as always, don't forget to let us know your thoughts. Are you team PC? Are you team console? Or will you play anything?
And before Jesse jumps into everything, I'd like to remind you guys that this is sponsored by you, our listeners. So if you are loving these podcasts, if you love seeing the live versions of these, hop on over to our Patreon. It is The Gamer Dads, and give us a little subscription. It's a small price. It helps me pay for some editing and some of the other stuff and costs associated with all of this. It would be really nice. And if you don't want to do that, just, follow us on Spotify or other platforms where this podcast can be found. And spread the word. Get it out there. This is actually good stuff, I promise you.
Now, I have a question about the Patreon, actually, because one of the guys I watch, Pulse Glazer, he's a Marvel Snap streamer. He has a Patreon, too, and he always says, even if you don't pay, sign up for the free tier. Or sign up for free and follow it because you'll get alerts when stuff is published. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't have a free tier, though.
But you still get alerts.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
Because, I am signed up, I'm not paying, and I got alerts. I got one today or yesterday with, the last two that we did, showing the videos, showing that I wore the same shirt for both ones. I don't know how that's possible.
I was wondering what that message was all about. You put that in chat.
I purposely wore, it's still a blue shirt, it's just not a V-neck blue shirt this time.
Oh, that's awesome.
I saw that. I'm like, how is that even possible?
So yeah, even if you don't want to subscribe, sign up, get alerts. If you find a podcast that seems interesting and you want to watch it in person, that's your spot, and it helps us out.
It does. So PC gaming. So PC gaming goes a long way back. Long way back. For me personally, I have fond memories of typing class in school where we're sitting on, I think it was Apple IIs, and then they had the little towel thing that they put over your hand so you can't see the keys.
We had a little cardboard box.
Yep. Kind of gamey type things, but it has you learn to type on them. And then once you finish it, you can boot up good old Oregon Trail on the 5.5-inch floppies that
5 1/4
are actually floppy. Yeah,
5 1/4
that are actually floppy. That's where the name comes from. Not the small 3.5 or 3 1/4 ones that actually don't flop. These ones flop. You go like this and they flop back and forth. Something that I'm not going to say. And then I personally...
A fan.
I had a lot of text-based RPGs that I played, kind of like your Choose Your Own Adventure books. I don't know if those are still a thing anymore, but in computer form, where you literally have to type out what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some early racing games, some NASCAR early racing games that I get into. The graphics are absolutely terrible. And it was incredibly hard to control because there was no wheels back then. At least when I did it. And then my first first-person shooters like Doom, Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of others that I can't. Hectite, or I can't remember the name of it. But that was one I remember because you had a wand and you could have like cast spells with your hands.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Myst. You ever play Myst?
Yep.
Like the puzzle game with the insane graphics.
Yeah.
Back then they were insane.
Yep.
And then real-time strategy games I started getting into, like, but this was before Warcraft. It was Dune.
Yep.
Dune 2. Command and Conquer was a thing.
StarCraft,
the original StarCraft, yep. And then going into college, like, I remember the biggest thing that I got into at first in college was Counter-Strike.
Oh, man.
Like,
my
I
roommate.
had like a Lenovo pre-built PC, like one of those beige things with a giant CRT monitor that weighed like 50, 60 pounds. And me and literally every boy in the hallway would be in our dorms playing Counter-Strike all night while the girls were probably out doing whatever. But we were not with the girls. We were staying inside. We're not out drinking. We were playing Counter-Strike.
And finding
And you could
new
hear
and
people
creative
yelling.
ways to swear at each other.
Yeah, we were yelling back and forth through the hallways. Like, and then I actually ditched my PC and bought a Mac, but it wasn't a MacBook. Back then, it was an iBook.
Mm-hmm.
And
We're not talking like the clamshell ones, right?
No, it was white, but it wasn't clamshell. And I'll never forget, kind of a tangent here. I brought it because I was a computer art major. I brought it into my computer art class once, and my teacher, who was very influential to me, came over, grabbed my Mac, brought it up to the front of the class, plugged it into his Mac, and dragged every single app over to it that the school had and said, "Here you go." It was like $5,000 worth of apps back then, like all the Photoshop apps,
Wow.
everything you can think of. I was like, "What did you just do?" I didn't know that's how you did it with a Mac, but you did. But because of that, my gaming was limited because I didn't have the PC anymore. I only had the Mac. So luckily for me, Warcraft and StarCraft were available on the Mac. So Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2. So Warcraft 3 was astronomically better than Warcraft 2, to the point where I think Warcraft 3 birthed Defense of the Ancients, or Dota. So Dota 2 has its roots in a customized Warcraft 3. Because in Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 2, you could make your own maps.
Okay.
And that's how Dota became about. And then eventually, I got into World of Warcraft after that and on my Macs. But that kind of was my phase where it's like, I'm not saying I only did Mac gaming because I had a GameCube in my dorm at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it. And then after college, it was kind of back on the PC train, but I'll talk about that a little later.
All right. Well, we got the scoop there. So my PC history is very similar to Jesse's in the sense that we definitely had the school PCs and the Oregon Trail and everything. And we were supposed to learn, from those games, history and stuff. And meanwhile, we're just trying not to die of dysentery, right? So our first home PC was some kind of IBM 5.25 floppy drive. The screen wasn't green. It was the amber screen. So it wasn't color either. And it was DOS based, no Windows yet at that point. And the two games that we had that I remember, we may have had like a couple other games, but I legit don't remember. That's so long ago. One of the games was called Think Quick. And I looked it up this morning after I was typing this up, and it was a learning game. And it was terrible. It was so hard. And I barely ever played it. Although I did launch it a bunch of times because you could do some custom mode stuff and weird stuff. And it was just, I don't know, it was like Minecraft in that sense that you could just kind of have an open sandbox and create things. So that's what I did for a little bit with that. And then we had the audacity to think that it would be fine to buy Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. So
I remember Carmen Sandiego.
Screw Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. We did Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. So you needed to not only know your history, but you needed to know world history, locations, and times. And as someone who was in second grade, that wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. So that game
was the cartoon too. That was a cartoon, wasn't it?
Carmen
Sandiego was a cartoon.
I watched the game show. Carmen Sandiego just recently on Netflix?
It might have been, yeah. But I remember it was a cartoon.
I mean, I found her at a beer fest in the Finger Lakes a few years, right? A year before we moved here. I have a photo of it. She was, I kid you not, there was a lady in a red getup, dark hair, long hair, dressed just like Carmen Sandiego, hat,
Giant red hat. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a picture of it somewhere, and if I don't, my wife does. And Matt in our group, he was with us, he and his wife when we found her. But eventually, we got a brand new Dell. Dude, you're getting a Dell. That guy.
I remember those commercials.
And it came with Windows 95. And I remember it was such a big deal that Windows 95 could just play movies, videos, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle at the time helped my father set up the computer because he had adopted computers much earlier than my father did. So he was knowledgeable and stuff. And I idolized him in that sense because he knew so much, right? And he brought up the hidden Weezer Buddy Holly music video that came with Windows 95, and we were playing that. And it was pretty cool. But I remember playing games like Minesweeper and stuff like that. And it was a little bit later that, we started considering PC games like SimCity 2000, Duke Nukem. I remember. So Duke Nukem is where I learned that I get motion sick.
Oh, really?
I played a lot of Duke Nukem, and Duke Nukem 3D specifically is the game that was around that era. And that's how I learned I got motion sick. And, for a little bit while I was playing, I thought I was just like skipping meals and getting hungry or something because it's a similar feeling in the pit of your stomach. And a little bit later, I realized that the game was making me motion sick. And when I stopped, I felt better. So that was my kind of foray into first-person shooters. But I also played games like Dune, and not the RTS Dune, like the Virgin Media Dune that was kind of modeled after the David Lynch movie from the 80s. Yep. It was it was kind of a real-time sim, but not really. And it was / adventure game and everything, where you go off into the desert and the different sietches and you meet the Fremen and eventually your eyes turn blue and all that cool stuff. And I played that game at my cousin's. He had a Dune. And King's Quest 5 and 6 also were awesome games that we played at his house. King's Quest 6 being my absolute favorite. And ironically, I don't know, maybe unironically, it kind of seeded the name in my brain. Alexander was the name of the main character. And sure enough, I named my child Alexander. It felt regal. I don't know. But yeah, King's Quest 6 was so cool. And it was kind of the next step, the next evolution, as you said, from like your typing story type games where it's like choose your own adventure and stuff. And while it kind of was choose your own adventure, it was more point and click. So, but the old King's Quest games, did you play like the old ones on the Mac?
I did not.
Those were type in what you got to do. I remember playing those at a friend's house on his Apple II. And you literally had to type where you're going. And you also had the arrow controls, and you could easily just fall off ledges. There was no zones or anything. So if you accidentally screwed up your control on a very small, precarious ledge, you just fell off. Game over.
Game over.
I remember it was agonizing. I also played a ton of Command & Conquer Red Alert on my own PC. I moved into a compact Presario when I was in high school. And I had that PC all 4 years of high school. And that's where a lot of my gaming kind of devolved, if you will, because I was more into consoles at that point. So like the only gaming that I had on that was a website with game FAQs on it while I was playing a game on my PlayStation next to my PC.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting here and the PlayStation was over here to my right and the TV and everything. So I could just turn back and forth. And also, oh, by the way, AOL Instant Messenger chat was always open at the same time. So I was talking to my friends, playing games.
Whatever the noise is.
Yep.
You hear the door slam and open when someone comes online.
Yep. And it's like, oh, is this girl I like online? No, it's just my buddy Brian.
Go back to putting angsty teen music lyrics as your away message.
Yep. For sure. So, in college, I finally learned how to build my own PCs. A friend of mine from work taught me how. He was a little bit younger than me, but he was way into PCs and everything, and he helped me build my first one. And then from there, I was playing like Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 1 and 2. We did LAN parties on those in our dorms, which was nice because the suites were on the same subnet, and then each suite was on a different, subnet of its own or whatever. So we could do LAN parties in our suite. So I'd be shouting out the door to my buddy Pete, Sauron's coming, you better get some troops over there, stuff like that. And we also played this really janky, free-to-play Korean MMO called Flife, which stood for Fly for Fun. And it was free to play.
That sounds very familiar.
It was free to play. It was extraordinarily grindy to get levels. And you could get past level 120, and then they half your experience and everything. It's still going.
I was just going to say, I played this. I played this. I remember this. It's still going. Holy cow. How is this still going?
I think it's been purchased by someone else at this point, but it's still going. And it had a cash shop where you could get upgrades and stuff. I had a really great character in that in college. I skipped many a class to play this thing. And
it's actually web-based now.
Yeah, it's crazy. In fact, during the pandemic, I found the code and software to spin up my own server.
Oh, wow.
So I was messing around with that. I created my own server, which was the game, and you can hack it basically as a GM. So I was upping the experience gains and everything just to go through it and see what everything looked like, see what some of the boss fights looked like, and things like that. So I was able to do that as well. Our buddy Tiger, who frequents chat, I got him playing it even a little bit in college. So yeah, that one was crazy. And then, of course, from there, I've built half a dozen or so of my own PCs, and all of them are built with gaming specs in mind. Even though, as a teaser, I am a console guy. I am through and through a console guy.
So I'm kind of a mix these days. Like I play, like lately, it's just kind of whatever I feel like. Today, like lately, it's more the Switch than anything because it's the new thing. I'm sure when Ghost of Yotai comes out, it'll be the PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
I still need to go back and finish Expedition 33, but it really depends on what game I'm interested in. Because having everything, having a PC, the Switch, and everything, that kind of gives you the ability to switch between whatever you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I build my own PCs these days. I started doing that in college too. Like, I guess some of my classes I learned how to build a PC. So my next PC, whatever it's going to be, I will build it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, for sure. I will never buy a pre-built. But over the years, like, I feel like the PC versus console thing didn't really get going until like the later 2000s. Because like for me in the early like 90s, late 90s, I felt like PC gaming was nowhere near console gaming. Because you had Mario, you had all these established games that were more popular than anything on the PC. Not even close. And then, and this is just my opinion, I feel like the PC gaming stuff really took off with World of Warcraft. I think that is what really started driving people more to PC. Because that was something that was incredibly popular that you could not play on a console.
Quake, World of Warcraft.
Quake, I mean, maybe it started with Counter-Strike. Yeah, maybe it started with Counter-Strike. But for me, like, Counter-Strike was fun, but I'd still always go back to my GameCube. Because in college, it was Mario Kart Double Dash. It was...
Love that game.
It was any other...
Smash.
Like, for me, it was Buffy. There was a Buffy game called Chaos Bleeds. I still have it over there. Smash Brothers. Like, it was all those games on there.
Yep.
And we'll get into this later, but like it was back then, it was so much, and even now today, it's so much easier to just buy a new console than it is to upgrade your PC.
Not just easier. I mean, I think we're going to get into this later, though. But the monetary standpoint from it too is a big factor.
Like, look at the late 90s, early 90s, late 90s. A PC, like at first, you're talking $5,000 for a PC. Whereas a Nintendo was $200, $150, whatever you wanted to call it. And then as the price started coming down for the PCs, it was like, okay, I can get a fairly decent PC for $800.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to play some of these games, and I can go online.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to people. Because before the internet, like, consoles were it, man. Like, there was very little reason to be on a PC unless it was for work.
Yep.
And then the internet came about, and you're like, oh, wow, I get to talk to my friend. I have all these websites I can go to. Look at this, website with this dancing person on it,
Well, not only that, you remember Hamster Dance website?
I do. What about Homestar Runner?
Yeah, Strong Bad.
Strong Door.
What was it? The mailbag with Strong Bad, the emails. But let's talk about the internet thing for a second, because you get some older listeners in here, and they're internet purists. The internet's been around since the 60s.
Yeah,
right.
But that was military and universities. It wasn't for general consumption.
You're right. It was around since then. But when we talk about the internet being around, we're talking mid-90s. AOL opening the door for everyone, pun intended.
GeoCities websites, AngelFire websites,
Yep.
Excite websites.
This was, I mean, chat rooms, you name it, all kinds of unsafe things going on across the internet. You know, we cut our teeth on the internet in the 90s, and it was unfettered access, right? Our parents weren't blocking things.
Nope.
They didn't think about that sort of thing. They didn't care. They trusted us to do the right thing. And
there was times, I remember I had friends where we were over there looking at stuff we shouldn't look at.
Mm-hmm.
We got to the point where one of us would have our big toe on the surge protector underneath. So if someone popped in, we just quickly click the big toe and be like, what's wrong with the computer? It's not working.
Yeah. You know, then we had things like Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire.
Yeah.
You know, and a whole different world of things opened up. We could get any music we wanted all of a sudden. And it was easy and accessible.
I used to collect music videos.
Yeah.
There was a videopimp.com was where I would download stuff from. And I would just have a folder of all these hard, heavy metal music videos that I would just watch and collect for some reason. I have no idea why.
And oh, by the way, guess what was just as easy to pirate? Games.
Yep.
I had some emulators and some daemons that allowed me to pirate games. And I was able to play all kinds of weird stuff that I never would have thought would be available then. Was it good? No. No, it wasn't.
I remember downloading cracks for like Adobe. I downloaded cracks for, and 9 out of 10 cracks that you download for a piece of software was a virus.
They had a virus in it. Yep.
Yep.
So you had to be very careful with that thing. Not to mention, as mentioned in our chat here, don't go to whitehouse.com, go to whitehouse.gov back in the day. You know? Otherwise, you're going to end up on a very bad website. Well, eye of the beholder, bad website. I'm sure some teenage boys really don't care at that point, but you know, your parents might. But the internet was a very interesting wild card for gaming and everything too, because to your point, it did kind of crank up the accessibility of things, and with the internet came the modding scene too, right, Jesse?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, I remember, and I don't know if they count as mods, but downloading mods for World of Warcraft. That would give me certain stats and certain things that would show on the screen. And then I started getting mods for stuff like Oblivion and Skyrim that would have Thomas the Tank in your game or whatever you want to call it. But that really took off and gave games a whole new life and a whole new way of playing stuff. Because I remember I could not play World of Warcraft without like 10 or 12 mods showing me all kinds of stuff. Because personally,
you need to know your frame rate.
Exactly.
And your hot buttons and all kinds of other things that are good quality of life fixes that didn't exist in the game. And that's
now, a lot of them came part of the game afterwards because the mods were so popular that none of that would have happened. I mean, granted, World of Warcraft itself wouldn't have happened without, mods. But talking about, like we said, with Warcraft 3, like that gave birth to Dota. And man, playing people online, just straight up Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2, I have very fond memories of that.
I used to play my cousins in Command and Conquer online.
Yeah. Like playing those against people instead of the computer, it opened up professional sports for gaming. Professional
Esports.
Gaming, I should call it. Yeah. Like watching these people play, like these days, because it still happens. There's still the type of thing out there. Like, it really humbled you because you were so bad.
I was just going to say, there's nothing more humbling than playing a game online against other people.
Yep.
Even if you're big fish in your group of friends, there's nothing more humbling than hopping online and saying, I'm going to play some other people.
Yep. And then I remember playing, Counter-Strike and coming against these people that had cheats. Where it's like, shoot you through a wall. And then, you got like the whole thing with cheating, like people are going to get banned. What's these days you have like my keyboard. I have a Wooting keyboard where it's got, or I think they call it Rappy Tappy. And that these days is banned from Counter-Strike because it gives you a competitive advantage.
Interesting.
So it's still a thing today. Like cheats and stuff are very much still a thing today.
So that also brings in like not when I say game mods, but a mod space, a game master space, right? You had these players in the games that were the police, and not in like most of the game masters, GMs, mods and stuff I interacted with was a positive experience for what it's worth. Some of them abused their power and everything, but like that opened up that space in gaming too, because things had to be managed, governed.
Mm-hmm.
Cheaters needed to be banned, called out, things like that. Forums, oh my God. In my opinion, the only forums that are alive right now is like Reddit, but like old school forums associated with games and everything, that was just chaos. Absolute
so for me,
chaos.
the big forum for me was called nightly.net, and it was for like Star Trek, Star Wars, and Buffy were the big three that kind of were on it. And I was
Star Wars, Star Trek, Buffy.
Yep. And I was a big Buffy fan, and I had my own website that was very popular. So I was big into the Buffy space, and I was a mod on nightly.net. And I was on there all night. Like it was like pre-Discord. Like that's kind of what I think what formed into Discord in a way. But I wonder if it's still. I gotta check and see if it's still there. But I don't know how much time I spent on that stuff, man.
Yeah, it's very interesting on
oh my God, it's still there. And it looks exactly like it did back then. That's hilarious.
It's so crazy what things have spun up
it's still popular too.
Because of gaming.
Yeah.
Because of video games. And the PC world opened up a lot of that with the advent of the internet, because it connected people from sitting at home in front of your console with your group of friends, passing the controller around, to playing someone with, like, I was friends with someone from Romania in Fife.
Yeah.
And we'd hang out and talk in game and play and everything else. And, you know, it was cool. You connected with people.
I still have people that granted, I don't really talk to them anymore, but I'm still friends with them on Facebook that I met raiding in Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people that we would have phone call conversations years after Warcraft was out of the picture. And it really did lead to actual real friendships. Yeah. Like it's not just like some like flash in the pan type thing that ended after. Like, no, there's people that still connect to me, like just like congrats when I got married. That's all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how I met Andy in our Magic the Gathering pod. He was in our Marvel Strike. He was our Marvel Strike Force guild leader, and that's how I met him. And Matt introduced me to the guild, and then Andy, and then we found out we had a lot of stuff in common, and that's that. So
here we are.
There are good things that come out of all of this. But going back to like the World of Warcraft games, I played the first World of Warcraft. I never played 2 or 3. I played not World of Warcraft. I'm sorry, Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
I played 1, Warcraft 1, and I think I've mentioned this on a podcast before, or maybe not, maybe just mentioned in person. But all of the game configs were in a text file.
Yes, they were.
And I decided that once I looked at the game files, because that's who I am, I was taking a look at things, and it was like arrow distance, and you could just edit the text file.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So I just had my guys able to shoot across the entire map. I didn't have to do anything because I wanted to see how the story progressed. I was like, okay, well, I can win all of these stages, just, create as many archers as possible, don't have to leave my camp, and they shoot the base across the map. I don't even have to explore. And, there were other things you could hack in that too. And that was kind of my entry level into, I guess, technically modding or cheats, if you will, with something. And obviously other games wised up and they locked down those data files or changed them from being modified easily and things like that. But I always found that very interesting that the original Warcraft game, all of the data stuff was sitting in a text file, and that's all the game read. It was so simple.
That's all it read. Yeah.
I mean, how large was that game? It had to be megabytes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's enough to like probably play on my Apple Watch, honestly, these days.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be only megabytes in size. So, there was a lot you could do with those things back in the day. And man, I'm just thinking about all of the stuff I did and games, PC games I played at other friends' houses too. There was a fun Star Wars game that I played at my best man's house, Joe. And I can't remember which one it was. Was it Star Wars Dark Forces? Yes, Star Wars Dark Forces. So that was an MS-DOS game that came out in 95. It was a first-person shooter. So naturally, I didn't play as much as I did watch and help my buddy play. But it was cool, and the graphics were great. And yeah, we played that at his house, and we played some LucasArts games like The Dig, which was an absolutely fantastic game, a point-and-click adventure game. If you've never played it, it actually exists in Steam. It's probably really cheap. It's an excellent point-and-click adventure game with a fantastic story about kind of being scooped away to another world as a military guy with a scientist and a journalist. And you basically have to explore the world and figure out how to get home. And it's very George Lucas-y and stuff like that. Then they had the Star Wars games. They had other point-and-click adventures. Was it Monkey Island or something like that?
That sounds familiar. Yeah. The one I was thinking of was Hexen.
Oh, Hexen.
Hexen Beyond Heretic.
All right. Now I'm looking at the LucasArts. Oh, Maniac Mansion.
Yep, I remember that one.
Secret of Monkey Island.
I knew Monkey Island was part of it.
Wasn't Full Throttle also one of those types of games?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember that. Yeah, Full Throttle. There it is. I remember that being on a demo PC in Best Buy when it first opened. The Dig. That was in 95 also. Some really good games that came out. Man.
All these are probably like web-based now.
Yeah, right?
Running a website.
Or you can just get them on Steam, right? Or something like that.
Yep.
Wow. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, by the way, is part LucasArts. I know Bethesda did it, but
it's part LucasArts.
I started playing that. It's really fun. They did a really good job with Troy Baker being the voice of Indy, and the opening of the game, you're replaying the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark with going into the temple and avoiding stuff and the swap with the bag of sand and the idol. And of course, you're escaping the boulder too. It's really well done. Yeah. But I mean, for me, I still think, to your point earlier, it's easier for me to just sit down with a controller in front of the TV.
Yeah. Especially back then when the games were more known on console.
Yeah.
I think the console graphics were better back then than they were on a PC. Because I think PCs, there was no video cards really back then.
They were still on board, weren't they?
They were still on board. And if they were video cards, they were not really that much more powerful. It really didn't start going until Counter-Strike, Quake, World of Warcraft, and then, they kind of left a lot of the consoles in the dust.
Yeah, my first PC that I built had its own graphics card. It was an AMD. It was a Radeon.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had my own sound card because they weren't really doing a great job with the onboard sound. So I had a Turtle Beach 16-bit sound card in it,
Sound Blaster.
Sound Blaster. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and the other thing, and we touched on this in another one of our gaming episodes, was licensing.
Mm-hmm.
Game licensing and ports being a thing, with consoles getting the lion's share of exclusives. I mean, even now, we're still waiting a year plus for some games to get ported to PC.
Yeah.
And personally, I think I've said this, maybe even in the last podcast, that, in my opinion, is a miss by the gaming industry. AAA games, these studios should be developing for everything. If they want to make the money that they want to try and make, get rid of the exclusivity. I know you're trying to make it seem like there's a scarcity and you have to be on there, but people are very choosy with their money these days. And if I only have a PC to game on and I really want to play this new game, I really would want it to be available for PC and not in a year after everybody has spoiled the entire game and talked about it.
Yeah.
So licensing is a factor. And again, to your point there with the consoles, they had everything.
They had everything. Back then.
Yeah. Everything that you could imagine, everything that you needed to play. So for me, it was just a convenience thing. Boot up, play the game.
And there you go.
So you want to jump into some trivia tonight?
So my trivia question is a PC gaming trivia question. And I thought you were going to spoil it earlier.
Oh,
but you didn't. So Warcraft, you have all the real-time strategy Warcraft games. What was the name of the first Warcraft game?
I don't know. It was Warcraft, and I want to say it was Heroes of something, but I don't remember specifically. So I'm just going to get this one wrong by default here.
So Warcraft 3 was called Warcraft 3.
Yep.
Warcraft 2 was Warcraft 2. Warcraft 1 was Warcraft Orcs and Humans.
Orcs and Humans. That's what it was.
Orcs and Humans. And it came out in 1994.
I was 13 years old.
I was 11.
Man. All right, my piece of trivia, and I already talked about this game tonight, is Duke Nukem 3D related. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Which I never played, so this is going to be fun.
And I may have talked about this outside of our podcast as well. Do you remember what the keyboard combination code was to enter God mode? in Duke Nukem 3D?
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
Interestingly enough, Beavis and Butthead was very popular at the time that Duke Nukem 3D came out. So the password, the code for God mode with Duke Nukem 3D was DN Duke Nukem Cornholio. And I've talked to my boss about this, and he remembers that as well, which is hysterical. My boss is a gamer, which is kind of fun, but he's a PC gamer only, and he kind of falls into the PC trap of he doesn't buy games when they're released. He waits till they're heavily discounted, and then he's buying games for like $9-10 a rip. Yep. So, last time I talked to him, he's like, yeah, I'm playing Borderlands 3 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, or I'm playing Tomb Raider. And he's like, finally playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was like years and years ago.
I think it was over 10 years ago.
Shadow was shortly after we moved here. So I bet it was 2018.
I would say 2017, 2018, something like that.
I bet it was 2018. Let's see, Wikipedia. 2018.
2018, yeah.
Yep.
So you're talking 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years after it released.
Yep. And he finally got to it. So, man.
PC gaming today and consoles today, PC versus consoles, is completely different than it was back then, in my opinion. So I feel like today you have the big three. You have Switch, Nintendo. You have Microsoft and Xbox, and then you have PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Now, Microsoft Xbox is kind of an outlier because they're exclusives for Xbox, except maybe Halo and Gears of War.
Yeah.
Everything else they release on both. So
and
like
I never
Avowed,
missed those either because
like Avowed came out on PC and on Xbox at the same time. But you got Nintendo, who never releases anything but Nintendo. Either, I mean, it was 3DS way back when, but now it's just Switch or Switch 2. And then you have Xbox that we talk about, and then you have PlayStation, who historically only released on PlayStation, but now it's like it releases on PlayStation, and then a year later, they'll throw it on PC.
Yep.
And then the exclusivity of stuff between, I'm going to leave Nintendo out, of Sony stuff, Microsoft stuff, including PC, is getting blurred now.
It is.
It's really being spearheaded, I think, by Microsoft. And I think this is because they're going to, in my opinion, probably going to completely dump hardware and just focus on software. But now they're focusing on releasing for everything.
Yeah, I mean, 9,100 layoffs tells me that there's not just a shift in restructure, reorg. They drop some games and everything. There's a shift in how they're going to be developing and what they're developing for. There has to be.
Yeah, so it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not Elder Scrolls 6, but maybe Elder Scrolls 6 will release on PC, Switch, and PlayStation all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think Elder Scrolls, I think Fallout was probably more of a cash cow than Elder Scrolls because of the TV show. But like when Fallout 5 comes out, they said it's going to be after Elder Scrolls 6. Mm-hmm. So I don't know like what the console landscape is going to look like then. But
next gen for sure.
Yeah. And I think even beyond like Switch 2, I think we're thinking like Switch 3, like because we're talking like 2032, 2033 for Fallout 5. But I think it'll be almost on everything. And if not, then like the exclusivity of like PC or Xbox, whatever it's out, is only going to be like a month or two.
That's fine too. Let the people with those consoles with that exclusivity get into those games, but make it available for other people. Not in a year's time. I mean, that's just going to hurt your bottom line.
But showing, like, putting it on different systems, I think shows how stupid the exclusivity is.
Yeah.
Because look at Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and maybe just because it's what I frequent on Reddit and what I look at, but the fact that it's on Switch 2, so many people are, discovering it for the first time.
You're kidding.
It's insane.
I didn't realize that.
And then there's even an effect from that people are buying it on their PCs too.
Okay.
And they didn't have it before. I've seen so many posts like, oh my God, it's so much better on PC than Switch 2.
Well, yeah.
And then, you have Cyberpunk, Ghost of Tsushima kind of reverse. I didn't have a PlayStation. I bought it on PC first. And then, like, The Witcher 3 somehow they put that on the Switch. I have no idea.
It works. I
haven't
played it all the way through.
But really, what really impressed me was Skyrim on the Switch. So
Oh,
I
wow.
remember, like, Skyrim came out in 2011. So when the Switch came out, 2017, it was almost launched with it. I think it was like a month or two after the Switch came out. Skyrim came out. I remember being in Vegas for an AWS conference playing Skyrim on my Switch.
That was that long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I remember you being in Vegas for that conference.
It was a long time. It was 2017, I think. It was a long time ago. November 2017. Like, just so many people are discovering things in different systems and then buying them on other systems. Like, I own Ghost of Tsushima on both my PlayStation and my PC.
Yeah.
I own Skyrim on literally every single console I've ever had. Since
don't ask me how many copies of like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasies and everything
3.
else I own.
I have Witcher 3 on my PC. I have it on my PlayStation. I have it on my Switch.
Yep. Ditto.
And how much more money they're raking in because of that. It's so stupid just to limit it to one thing.
It is, because then you have the idiots like us who are like, well, out of convenience, I might as well have it wherever I happen to be.
Yeah.
If I want to play on my PC.
And then include games like Cyberpunk that have cross saves.
The cross saves. Oh my God. So cool.
So I can like play it on my PC. Now, obviously, I have mods on my PC that won't be on my Switch or whatever.
Yep.
But I can load it on here and then go upstairs, play it on the big TV upstairs if I want it.
Yep.
Because it's the same save.
Well, don't play that in front of your kids. Holy cow.
I do not play that in front of my kids.
Yeah, I mean, that could be game changing in that sense. And the if we are going to release for everything, make the saves cross savable. Make the data available for anything so I can pick it up wherever I happen to be. You know, most of these households at this point who are consoles also have PCs somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you're a gamer, you may have moved on to gaming PCs as well. Every friend of mine that I know that games also plays on their PC. So why not make that cross save feature available in more games? You know, and you got me thinking about the exclusivity thing. And, you know, I think bottom line, Jesse, the reason why I'm a PlayStation person over an Xbox person, can you guess?
Because of Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Without a question. Square Enix decided to tie their boat to PlayStation, to Sony, and that's all it was. And I had to stick with them for each subsequent release if I wanted to play the new games. I couldn't get an Xbox. But again, I wasn't able to play first-person shooters for a very long time until Cyberpunk came out, honestly. I think any first-person shooter that came out around Cyberpunk time probably would have been okay for me. Most of these games are being developed now with a much wider field of view.
Yeah, and or slider where you can change it.
Yep. And that is what I've learned through research and my own experimentation is what has been a lot of my problem with the first person games, is that field of view is too narrow and your brain is not catching up with your eyes and everything. And it's too jagged and everything. And brain think poisoned, want to puke. So, I mean, you rattled off a lot of the PC games that I have on my PC too right now. You know, Cyberpunk 2077, Ghost of Tsushima, absolutely gorgeous on PC. Better than PlayStation 5.
Not even close. They
made it so much prettier on PC. And there is not a single game that I own that heats up my fans and graphic card and everything else spinning on this PC than Ghost of Tsushima.
Other than MTG Arena during the startup screen.
The coil whine stopped, at least.
Oh, did it?
With the graphics cards on Arena. But Witcher 3, I mods out of convenience.
Oh my God, the mods on Witcher.
And the mods that make it pretty.
Yeah, like the high definition mods, which a lot of them were baked into the re-release of it.
They were.
But even simple mods like being able to fast travel, having to go to one of the signposts.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's huge, especially for someone who's played the game multiple times.
Right.
Like, I just want to get to where I'm going. The Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. Yes, the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters are on far too many consoles that I own at this point. I mean, I've given Square Enix so much of my money, it's not even funny. And Chrono Trigger remaster when? Please.
I saw a story this week that it was happening.
Give me something. I saw a rumor that
was it Chrono Trigger 2?
I saw a rumor that it was leaked that there was a remaster coming accidentally. Chrono Cross was remastered or redone for the Switch last year, the year before. I got to
Mhm.
replay it on my Switch there. That was fantastic. But, I have a regular rotation of games on my PC, and I play them. I bought Stellar Blade again. I bought it for PC because I wanted to see what the mod world looked like. Don't look at
Yeah,
the not safe for work mods.
those
There's like
Steam
far
sales,
more
man.
of those than anything else.
Like you
for
have
that
Steam
game.
sales where you could buy a game for $5 when it was like $80 when it really came out, or $70 or whatever.
And let's not forget Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that game plays so much better on PC. I'm sorry, console people.
I've never even tried it on console.
I have no desire to try it on console. The interface looks fine, but I don't think I could ever play it outside of PC. And again, the mods, before they built in their own mod system and have their own in-game mods and everything, the mods made it so much more replayable. So you could try and make different decisions or do stupid stuff or see what this decision makes and everything. And if you get into a fight, you get into a fight. You have God mode on and it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
But you get to see the outcome of different decisions. So the mod scene has been really, really interesting to me, and most of what I mod are just convenience or graphical updates. I don't go too crazy with it. I will admit though, I want to replay Final Fantasy 12 very, very badly. I have it on PC. I am dying for some cheats or some mods that will help me cheat through that game. I didn't like it very much. I'd love to replay it where it's just a little bit easier because it was a slog. So I need to go dig and check out Nexus mods or see what's out there.
Yeah, before it gets taken down, because Nexus mods was bought. Apparently not by company, by some people who were helping run it. I haven't really kept up with it. But another thing with PC versus console is the cost. Back when it first started, the cost was way, way prohibitive for PCs. Nowadays, it still is. It still is.
I know. It's when
yeah,
we had a really good dip.
But then crypto mining came and it went right back up. Because nowadays, like to get the top of the line graphics cards, like a 5090, I think is the top of the line.
You're talking $2,000-$3,000 for that,
just for the card itself.
Yeah.
That's not including the case, the CPU, the RAM, the fans, the power, all this stuff. Whereas the top of the line console, like the highest price one, like say PS5, 700.
I think it's 6 or 7,
600, and that's it.
That's all you need to do.
The most you can mod is what, you throw a hard drive into it.
Yeah, actually, I don't know the answer to that as far as how the Pro works.
Like I know my PlayStation 5, I put a hard drive into it.
Yeah, I put a solid state in my 5, but does the Pro just come with better storage?
I don't know. I think it's probably an option.
I wish I knew. I have no desire to buy a Pro right now.
Yeah.
Until my PlayStation 5, one of them. We have 2 in our household. Yeah, I'm like Marty McFly back in 1955 with the TVs. we have 2 PS5s in our household. And one was for my wife. I got her that. And guess who plays it more than her? My 5-year-old.
Alex, yeah.
Yep. Astro.
And then you don't really, in order to upgrade like your console, you buy the next generation.
You gotta wait. So, you have to wait for the next gen. There's no tinkering.
Very little options. But for a PC, depending on your motherboard, you can upgrade the CPU, you can upgrade the graphics, you can add more RAM, you can add more storage. There's so much more customizability with a PC than your consoles. But that comes at a cost.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, total cost of ownership of a PC over the lifespan of, say, a console, it doesn't even line up.
It's astronomically higher.
Like if I built a PC at the same time that PS5 came out and kept it up to spec, I could probably buy 6 or 7 PS5s.
Yeah, like my PC that I'm looking at right now, I built in 2020 during the pandemic. Since then, I've literally upgraded every single bit of it except for the motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And now you can't. RAM, you're capped out at this point.
CPU. There's nothing. I mean, I could always upgrade the graphics card, but then you're going to get towards throttled, where the CPU is slower than the graphics card. But RAM, graphics card, CPU, fans, power supply, hard drive, everything I've upgraded, and that will get me another couple of years out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas consoles, you can't. I mean, I see people do it sometime. Like I think they'll thermal paste it, put more thermal paste on it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But there's very little you can do to it.
Yeah, and sometimes they just die. And it's not like I can go in and replace faulty RAM on my console or a bad CPU or a bad hard drive. Yeah. I can't. I can you reload the OS on those if it gets borked?
I have no idea.
I should know these things. That we work in IT, Jesse, but like,
yeah, we should.
we've never encountered that. So like, how would I reload the PlayStation OS if that suddenly got borked and I wanted to just start from scratch and hope that my cloud saves are good?
There's probably a way. And then you have an issue with, I don't know if you've kept up with it with the Switch 2 now, where if you do something that Nintendo doesn't like, they will brick your device.
Get out.
And like permanently brick it. Like I saw a story yesterday, the day before, that someone's cousin or something got his Nintendo Online account banned, signed into this person's Switch, and they bricked the Switch.
No.
And it's irreversible.
You can't appeal that sort of thing?
Nope. At least the appeals I've seen, Nintendo says you're SOL. Sorry, we're not doing it.
Wow.
So that's like a level of control on a console that really isn't going to happen with a PC.
No, it's not.
And it's a trade-off. I mean, yeah, just don't do something to get banned. But at the same time, like, what if something is a mistake? Like, what if it's a mistake and suddenly your console is banned? What are you going to do? You can't just erase it. Whereas a PC, you can just erase the hard drive and start over.
Reformat. Yeah, I'm going to reformat my system.
What is not on a console? Viruses. I don't think there are.
I'm sure you could find viruses for a system if you wanted to put like a USB drive or something in your PlayStation and do stuff, but you're not going to be able to readily just get a virus on those systems. Their stores are as locked down and managed as the Apple store is for iOS and iPad OS and stuff like that. So you're not going to download a game that's riddled in viruses.
No, No, and a lot of that, like the stores on like PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch are more controlled too.
Very regulated.
It's very regulated, where it's very hard to get anything published in those stores.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, you can't get any. I'm going to sound like a pervert, but you couldn't get an NC-17 game. You couldn't get an adults-only game on those. And plenty exist. Plenty exist.
Laser Shoot Larry. Anybody remember that?
Listen, I have a fun story with Leisure Suit Larry if you want me to get into it. So those games were fine on the PlayStation 2 at the time. Like, they existed. They were tame in the grand scheme of things, right? So I rented it when I was in college, and I was rooming with Dennis at the time, Tiger, and I brought it to play. And his girlfriend came in and her roommate came in. They were watching us kind of swap between mini games and stuff. Well, don't they insist on playing? And us idiots stayed up, I shit you not when I say this, a full 24 hours playing that stupid game without sleep because we were dying to finish the game and find out how it ended.
Was it really a good story?
I played that stupid game for 24 hours straight with my friends, just swapping off. That sounds gross.
That does. Nah.
But we would just hand the controller to the next player, and you try and beat this mini game, or you try and do this, or you find the secret token. That was. We'd be walking around campus and say that if we found like a random leaf or something out of place. You know, it was addicting. Actual adult only games and everything that you will never see on consoles.
The Steam store for that type of stuff, and it's not censored. Like, just like the store pages themselves are not censored. So it's disgusting, some of the stuff that's on there. Like, yeah. And how it's even there, how it makes it there is beyond me.
It doesn't seem to be managed really. I mean, all you have to do is say you're 18 and have a credit card or a PayPal account and you can get those games. It's a little odd, honestly, but
the fact that Cyberpunk even made it to the Switch and a Nintendo console is incredibly surprising.
Yeah, that was shocking to me too. With some of the spicier scenes that you get, I'm thinking of Judy and Pan Am there.
I'm thinking of just the ads that play on the TVs.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, so speaking of value versus cost, right? PC is going to cost you a lot of money over the lifetime, and let's also not forget. My PC right now is 1.5 years old because my other one died after a year. There was nothing I could do, Jesse, to bring it back to life. It just, everything on it just continued to fail. So I had to build a new one after a year. Consoles, we see stories on Reddits and online of people's consoles, the first gen of the new ones dying and everything after.
Or, GameStop putting a staple through it.
Or putting a staple, yeah. But that's never happened to me or any of my friends, literally.
Same here.
I don't know a single person whose console has bricked on them. We heard some rumors of the Red Ring of Death on Xboxes. I
was just going to say, my Xbox 360 is sitting in a bin over there. It still powers on.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've never seen it. I've never heard of anybody that I know with that problem. So That tells me that's so incredibly rare. So those consoles are practically bulletproof.
Whereas a PC, you do one wrong thing and the whole thing's bricked.
It's much easier to break. It's a fragile ecosystem to play these high quality games these days. Is that worth it to you? Well,
it depends on the type of person you are, I think. Because like if you're a tinkerer, if you like to play with things and break things and see how they work, you're a PC person. And more than likely, you're a Linux person. But if you just want something to work and, like you said, to sit down on a couch, grab a controller, and just boot it up with no issues at all, you're going to be a console person.
Yep. And that's where I'm at today. But like, you boot up Ghost of Tsushima on PC. It's hard to play that on a console now, man. It doesn't compare. Nothing compares. It doesn't. You can't look at that game on a PS5 even. Because remember, that game was made on PS4.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was, yeah.
And it was upscaled for PS5 when PS5 came out. But you look at that, and then you play that on PC, forget it. You're not touching.
You probably haven't looked into it, but the mods for Skyrim, what they can make Skyrim look like. Now, granted, you're talking hundreds of mods that probably will bring your computer to its knees, but it will look like Ghost of Tsushima.
Wow!
But with Skyrim.
Wow!
Yeah, like Oblivion, the remake looks amazing, but does not compare to Skyrim with it really modded out and tricked out.
Interesting. Now, again, Skyrim's not something I got into because motion sickness.
Yeah. I have probably over 1,500 hours into Skyrim across all platforms.
Man, and I thought like my 300 in Witcher 3 was pretty good.
Yeah, it's insane because again, we're talking PC, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Switch, all the consoles you can think of I had it on. So, and I just kept replaying it, and I've replayed that game at least 10 times. All the way through from start to finish.
And you got the horse armor.
I did get the horse armor. That was the first, I think that was the first in-game purchase of any game outside of like World of Warcraft and those type of things. Yeah. And really, kind of the last point I want to make is, and maybe I'm just missing it, but I feel like the PC building and gaming community is much larger than the console community. Because like we have, from the PC side, you have so many things to talk about. Whereas the PC or the console stuff is just like the games.
Yep.
That's it. Whereas PC, you go on to like PC gaming stuff and it's like, what video card do you have? What RAM do you have? What settings of this? What mods do you have? Blah, blah, blah. Where it's not really there for consoles.
No, and for what it's worth, the PC community is usually helpful to each other.
Usually, yes.
Usually. Sometimes people get super condescending, like, you don't know what you're doing? Like, I just asked a question about my memory timing that I should be running.
What do you mean you run Windows? You don't run Arch Linux?
Yeah, like there's plenty of snobs out there and everything. But overall, the community is extraordinarily helpful. I've gotten more answers in forums for why stuff is crashing on PC builds than I ever would have gotten with other gamers. I mean, walk into any of our local game stores, and let's say we wanted to talk about Magic with people, and we just disagreed with them. Be careful.
Yeah,
be very careful.
Like you said, they're so helpful. Still, like I have Rocksmith 2014. Like I still play it. It's like I don't think it's supported anymore, but there's so many things you have to do on the PC to get it to really hum. And you're going back to forum posts from 11, 12 years ago, whenever it came out. And people are still talking on those forum posts and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep.
And it's just maybe because I've been in the PC community for so long, much longer than consoles, and I'm more active in it just because it's more customizable. But it just feels like it's more of a community.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best gaming community you got was like, Nintendo Power. I mean, but like for real though, like I'd walk into GameStop, EB Games, whatever the hell it was back in the day when I was primarily a console gamer. And I could talk to the people behind the desk, behind the counter about games. I'd be like, hey, I like Final Fantasy. Tell me about another RPG that I could get into or something. And they would make recommendations, and they would be, they would be just as excited as they were to make a sale as they were to recommend it. Like I remember going into one of the places in Crossgates Mall, and the dude was like super hyped for Morrowind.
That needs to be remade next.
Like super hyped for Morrowind, and he talked about the game and everything, and I didn't buy it obviously because first person, but I mean if I could play first person games, he would have totally sold it to me.
That was such a groundbreaking game too. That's probably why he was so hyped. But yeah, you don't really have that much hype with consoles. I don't think.
Now, the most hype you get is in forum posts or Discord channels these days, and
I say that when I stood in line for 45 minutes to get the Switch 2. But now talk about that is such a good experience for me. I mean, granted, it was 90 degrees, it was super hot, but all the people in line, everybody was so chill, so friendly. There was a kid behind us that were still in high school that I was talking to the entire time.
Wow,
the dude in front of me was my age, so we were all talking. We never knew each other, and it was like we were like friends by the end of it. Granted, it was 5 minutes in a line, but everybody was super happy. Like we got to the point where they closed the doors, and I was the last one in. And me and the guy ahead of us were asking, "Hey, do you have one more for the guy behind us? He really wants it. He's from high school." And we were trying to get him his own console, and we got him one.
Yep.
But it was like this. It was a really good experience. It was a really good experience.
You were trauma bonding over standing in 90-degree heat in line.
It was so hot. Oh my god, it was so hot. But I remember I got the last one, like the last bundle with Mario Kart, and we're like, "Can you please find another one for this guy behind me? He so wants one." I'm like, I don't want to give mine up.
Do you have any more in the back?
And community-wise, like, I don't play Fallout 76 anymore, but the Fallout 76 online is so incredibly friendly. Like, I am level 399, I think.
What?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty high. But a lot of the higher levels, what we would do is there's a designated starting area. And we would all just camp out at where the vault opens and just give new people everything they need.
Wow.
And then we would tell them, follow me, and we would bring them through the entire opening part of the game and just do it all for them and just help level them up.
Wow.
Like, you don't have that community anywhere else. I haven't seen it anywhere
I will
else.
say a lot of the MMOs that I've played have been similar in that sense. Like I
only played Warcraft really, and that was so toxic.
Yeah,
I
never
played
played
a little
Warcraft.
bit of ESO, like a little bit of ESO, and that was pretty good. But I haven't really played many MMOs.
Like going back to that Flife game that I was talking about, we were grinders, and we were pretty known on the server at that point because I played it for 2 years straight. And we'd go.
You try to get me into it, actually.
Probably we'd go into the early area and just buff people and help speed up their ascension into their actual class and everything. Because the first 15 levels, it's just a grind of Vagrant. And then after 15, you get to pick your class and everything. So any way to speed that up for new players was ideal because you make friends that way and everything. Or you just hop into, you got bored and you want to just talk to people. So you move from your level 90 area and hop into a level 50 area and you'd buff people and talk to them and keep them alive or whatever, or stop, if they pull aggro and they can't handle it, you stop it. And that's the fun community part, right? That's the fun part. Of course, there's just as many toxic people in that kind of gaming space as well, but you don't play it for that. You play it for
one
the fun.
thing that consoles didn't have until recently, community-wise, is chat.
Yeah.
And voice chat.
Get
when I was doing
vent, losers.
I was just gonna say, when I was doing raiding for Warcraft, we'd have our own vent server and we'd hop on. I'd be the raid leader. I'd be directing everything. You didn't have that on consoles. Now you do. Now it's a lot more common to have voice chat and that type of thing. Even Discord links to it, and then the Switch 2 has its own chat button, which I haven't used, by the way. I don't think I know anybody else that has it. But the early PC, I'm trying to think of when the chat, Xbox had actually, I remember there was this little game keypad thing you can attach to the controller and type on it, kind of like a BlackBerry.
Really?
You could do that. And it had a headset where you could plug it in to the controller, but it was terrible.
That I remember.
It was unreliable. It was very unreliable. I remember the Xbox One. I played the crap out of Destiny 2 on Xbox One. And I had a Bluetooth headset, and we would do voice chat over that, but it was still super unreliable.
Yeah.
But that didn't come until 2017-ish, that time frame. Whereas PCs at that time, it had it for 10 plus years.
Yeah, easily.
So that right there helped build a community, I think. The whole community aspect of it. Because again, that's how I met so many people that I was friends with on Vent. And we would talk. You could actually know their actual voice. It wasn't like text. It was your actual voice.
Yep. Yeah, that community building is something else. And some true friendships have been built on these games and stuff. I mean, I showed you guys, I downloaded Final Fantasy 14, free trial up to level 70.
Oh, wow. What's the top level on that game?
I have no clue.
Or isn't there one?
My guess is 120, but I truly don't know.
Like Fallout, like there's not a top level. Like I watched a guy get to level 10,000. Like there's not a top level. Yeah.
But I do want to try and play it for the story and everything. I played for a little while. The intro is so boring.
Is it?
I remember why I stopped playing MMOs, because it's a bunch of kill squirrels
that
don't matter, fetch quests and stuff. And it's
I hate those fetch quests.
Can we speed this up? But I still want to play it because the Final Fantasy set of Magic cards was predominantly Final Fantasy 14 references and everything. And I have no flipping clue. Like your commander, that Ardbert guy.
Ardbert, yeah.
I have no clue who he is. And I want to know, because he seems pretty strong. And if he's not strong in the game, I'm going to be extraordinarily disappointed.
He's super strong as a commander.
Be very disappointed. I'm not even going to try and attack Absolute Virtue, right? Because I watched a half-hour video on that thing, and I'm not touching that. But, you know, things like that, I want to get the references on. So maybe I'll pick that up. But
yeah. And we haven't touched on or mentioned the whole fact with PCs that you can do so much more on it than game.
That's true.
Like you can't build a PowerPoint for your work on your PlayStation.
Or create a podcast.
Or create a podcast on your PlayStation. Or talk on Discord. Yep. Can you talk on Discord on your PlayStation? I don't think you can.
I don't know.
Actual typing, you might be able to. I think you might build a voice chat on it. But you can't browse the web really very easily.
No, you can try.
That. You can't host a Plex server on your console.
Yep. PC is very. I mean, and these are the same things that you can game on that I work on. This is both my gaming machine and my workhorse machine. I do all of my creative stuff on here. We play Magic on it. I do work. I do videos. I do everything on this thing.
And there are a lot more. I think there are a lot more PC exclusives these days than there are console exclusives.
Man, it sure seems like it.
And it's not because like it's meant to that. It's just these are so like small indie developers. Like Wizards of the Coast is such a small indie developer. They have
very
to have
small.
It on PC.
Yep.
But I can't imagine Arena being on a console. Like maybe the Switch because it's touchscreen. But
well, do you
imagine
remember
that being
playing
on a PlayStation?
The Magic games on console, like those
Duel
earlier ones? Yeah, they were on console and it was horrible. The interface was
terrible.
So bad.
It was terrible. Yeah, so they probably saw that and like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Or like me playing Marvel Snap, it's not going to be on a console. There's no way.
No.
So there's a lot more PC exclusives, but it's just because it's limited to that. It's just limited to the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, the technology is more suited for it. Yeah. That's all it is. So Henry Cavill, PC or console?
He's clearly PC.
He is all about PC. It's fun. That I will never forget that interview where the interviewer's like, "So PlayStation or Xbox?" And he's like,
"It's like PC." Like
this
is look at his face. It's like, "You peasant."
It's like
PC.
Super offended. It's like PC. For me, still to this day, Jesse, I can't turn down a good console game. Here's the weird thing, and I'm going to say this because I think, leave a comment if you feel that this is wrong. Okay. I am still a console person, but I'm not going to lie when I say this. I play my PS5 via PS Remote Play on my PC more than I play it in front of the console.
I do that too. Mostly because I can't get the TV.
Way more than in front of and on a nice TV, 7.1 surround sound. No, I'm playing it on PS Remote Play right here in front of me.
I remember when I first got my PlayStation, we went on a trip to Maine or something, and I was sitting in the bed with everybody sleeping at the hotel. I was on my iPad head up with a PlayStation controller playing Horizon Zero Dawn on like Remote Play. And it was actually pretty dang good.
That's so crazy.
Good. But so the question I asked or said, are you PC, are you console, or are you a mix of the both? I personally, as much as I like claim to be a PC person, I think just like the whole OS wars, like Mac versus Windows
or Android versus iPhone.
Yep, they all have their use. I think they are all equal in my head because, like, again, I've been playing Switch 2 for so long now since I got it, and then I'll come down here and play Arena or something on my PC, and I'm perfectly happy. Now my wallet hates that because I have to have every single console.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think I could pick one and stick with one.
I don't think I could either. I don't think gun to my head, I don't think I could say PC or console now. If you
No.
asked Bob of 10, 15 years ago, it's console hands down.
Now,
Hands
gun to my
down.
head, I would say the PC, only because the leg up I think the PC has is the emulators.
Mm-hmm.
So I can play almost any game I want on any system if I emulate it.
Yep. Yeah,
Whereas
I
you can't do that on
I love
consoles.
my PlayStation emulator, my PS1
Now,
emulator.
I don't have it down here, but my 3DS, I modded it, and it's emulated
Yep.
with all kinds of stuff. But the PC is so much easier.
Careful, Nintendo's going to knock down your door saying that.
But gun to my head, it would be the PC, only because the emulator stuff, and because I could do so much more on it than like a console. I can't work on a console.
I think I still love a good console. It's just it's who I am. It's who I've always been. And for me, more than anything, I'm a single player game kind of guy. Role playing games, sports games, racing games, things like that. And I don't care to go online either with those games. So I can sit in front of a console that doesn't need chat or anything else. And I'm happy to play my latest Final Fantasy game. Although there hasn't been a good Final Fantasy since 10, but that's a different story altogether. I could do my very own podcast and talk for over an hour about how Final Fantasy has dropped the ball since Final Fantasy 10. And we're not going to do that. And people will
do the same thing on why everything went downhill after Fallout 3.
Yeah, I mean, and people will fight me over saying Final Fantasy 12 was a good game, and it just wasn't. I'm sorry.
There is something to be said about me picking up a controller, going upstairs, kind of like laying down on the couch with a dog next to me, just playing on TV.
Yep. So, I mean, for us, it's not much of a debate. We're not going to fight each other over this because, like many things, it's what you like. And what people like is highly individual, like art.
Yeah, or music.
And
just like music, you could grow to love something like Ghost.
Yeah, that was so interesting. We're not going to go into that, but like you told me about them years ago.
Years ago, man.
I listened to them and I was like, eh. And
that was one of the misses I had because like a lot of the music I've like Gunship and other symphonic metal stuff, you kind of pick up right away.
Yeah.
But same like I said today, I didn't like Ghost at first, and now they're like top 5 for me.
Yeah, I didn't like them at first either, obviously. And this new album just opened up the doors for me, and they I don't know, they sound different. So
yeah. Anyway. But yeah, just like anything, like just because someone likes PC gaming or just because someone likes PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them.
No, be kind.
Enjoy the fact that you're all gamers and that you like playing games, because games are very personal to people. They can mean more like to me than it is to you. Like one game could have gotten me out of depression or something, and you could just kind of clicked with you. So games are very personal, just like music, just like movies. There's just because one person plays on a different system doesn't mean anything. They're just a brother from a different mother.
That's a great way to put it, Jesse. I agree entirely. And again, we're all gamers in this big world, this thing we call Earth. And I need an escape right now in this timeline because it's rough out there, kids.
It's not like you're talking to someone that plays Blue and Magic or something. I mean, that's just terrible.
No, who does that? Yeah. Cool. Well, I don't know what our next Magic podcast is going to be, so we'll have to come up with something.
Oh, man.
I do want to try and follow through on our bracket 3 experiment and see what we can do about that. I haven't gotten a lot of traction from other people who are interested in that, but I do think it's worth pursuing, and we could do a long form video on that and pull some data and see if the games were actually more enjoyable or completely not, which is entirely possible. So maybe we talk about that and lay out what the experiment is and how we're going to do it. And I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, if you hung out with us for this whole podcast, we hope that talking about PC, console gaming, and a little bit of nostalgia sprinkled in, like we always tend to do, really tickled your funny bone there for the games. And and as always, Jesse, any final words of wisdom for us tonight?
Henry Cavill, he's my hall pass.
Yeah, mine too. For sure. I'll fight you for him.
Like I remember Instagram posts of him like holding up like his PC on his shoulder. It's like, whew, if I was gay, man.
That is a man.
And that was, I think, right around the time he was like announced as a lead for Witcher, which obviously is so important to me. It's like, okay, that's like you replaced Hugh Jackman for me.
Ryan Reynolds was actually mine. I needed a little effeminate guy there, but Cavill has dethroned him easily for me. Yeah. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out tonight, and be awesome out there. We'll see you guys next time.